The last type of rights I want to talk about is when we're working with specific attributes or specific properties. We were working with basically supervisor, which has all the rights. Well, we don't always want to do that, and even in those container managements or those container supervisors, do we want them to do everything like file system rights or changing, login scripts and stuff? Maybe, maybe not. So we just made it very, very simple that you could do it that way. This will give you more of a specific example, though, of how we can use specific attribute rights to sort of limit that and only give control in a very, very, very limited way. And the example that I want to use is using like a help desk function. If I go into information systems, I have an IS manager and a couple of people. I'm going to go ahead and create a group here called help desk. That way I can put people in that group and take people out. So as people join the team or they just happen to be on help desk that week, then they'll have these rights. If they're out doing something else, not on the help desk, I could take them out, or whatever scenario that you want to be thinking of. But I'll be creating a new group, so new group, and I'll call it help desk. And I can't log in as, I can't do it as Sarah, because Sarah only has rights and operations. So let's go back out and log in as Larry. And let's try that again. So under Gropa, under IS, new group called Help Desk. So the Help Desk group, and I'm just going to put a couple people in there. I'm going ahead and put in Brandon and Lauren. So I click on the Help Desk, and up on top I have the tab for members. And to find my members, I browse using the object selector. And I start searching under Gropa, under IS, and I want to choose Brandon and Lauren. And as I click up on top, they get added to the list on the bottom. So you can choose multiple people at the same time just by clicking on them. So now whatever I do to Help Desk, Brandon and Lauren will automatically pick those up because they're part of that group. I'm going to work with just Gropa. I don't want it to be the entire tree or other organizations. I only want them to be able to do basic functions for Help Desk within the Gropa corporation. So I'm going to be working at this level, the Gropa level. I click on this current level again, and I go to Actions, and I modify the trustees. And I want to add a trustee, and I want to be adding the help desk, not the individual people, because, again, I'd have to remember if Brandon left, I have to take him out of the group, and then whoever replaces Brandon, I have to put back into the trustee list, and just gets really confusing. So it's a lot easier to add and remove them from the group. So I have the help desk, and I want to assign the rights. Now again, by default, all they're going to get is be able to see the entries and then be able to see all the attributes, but not be able to write to anything on there. So we want to be doing some very specific ones. I want to be adding a property. So I'm going to keep these. I want them to keep reading all the attributes and all the entries. I just want to add a property. And the first one is dealing with password management. The help desk should be able to change the passwords. Now there's a long list of objects in here, but it's not the full list. There is a little checkbox that says show all the properties. And for this, we do need to show all the properties. We want to be going down and choosing password management. It's a nice little consolidated attribute or property that allows us to change people's passwords, exactly what we want to do. And I find password management, and then I click OK. Now, if password management is on the list, it keeps adding and adding and adding, and that's why it needs a whole screen just for working with rights. Now, the thing I need to be able to do is I need to be able to write to that attribute. And I'm also going to be adding self to there as well. We don't ever do anything with dynamic or nested. We only work with these 4 rights. It's almost like read, write, erase, create, modify, and file scan. We always work with the middle ones. We don't ever work with the supervisor or with nested or dynamic. By default, it is not inherited. So we do have to check the checkbox that says inherit. If we miss that, it's only going to be for Garopa and none of the subcontainers, not for accounting or operations or sales, anything like that. It's only for the Garopa container itself. But we do want it to inherit all the way down, so it applies to all the departments. Now that's just for password management, and that's a pretty simple, straightforward one. A lot of times people call for password issues, usually after they've locked their account because they forgot what the password was. So we want to be able to reset intruder detection as well. Now that's a little bit more in depth. That requires us to add 4 different attributes because each one we need to be able to write to individually. The first one is, the first property is called locked by intruder. Now I don't have to show the all properties for these. These will in fact just be on the short list. But it's called locked by intruder. And that's a little checkbox. And by adding this attribute, by adding this property on here and giving myself the right rights to it, right and self and inherit, I'm able to check the checkbox or essentially uncheck the checkbox. As soon as you uncheck that, though, it needs to reset a bunch of other stuff. It needs to reset the counter. It needs to reset the intruder address and the reset time. So all those things have to get written to the E directory, and they can't unless you have the right rights to them. So we need to add all those properties to it. So we're going to add those other 3 to it as well. The next one is login intruder attempts. Login intruder attempts. And again, I add the right and the self and the inherit. The next one is login intruder address. Login intruder address. And again, right, self, and inherit. That's 2 of them. The next, let's see, 1, 2, 3, that's 3 of them. And the last one would be login intruder reset time. This is not intuitive. You probably won't be able to just scroll through the list and figure those out. This is definitely documented somewhere. You'll be looking through your notes, looking online, through the documentation. What do I need to be able to do this? What rights do I need to what attributes to do this? Once you have these 4 listed, though, locked by intruder, login intruder address, login intruder attempts, and then the login intruder reset time, that now gives me the ability to reset the intruder detection on any account within Garopa. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's see if we haven't done it correctly. Who should we do? Who should we lock? Let's do HR. We'll do Alexis. The first thing I want to do is make sure that I have intruder detection on this container. And I do. It's set for 3 incorrect attempts, so that's good. So I want to log in as Alexis and see if I can lock her account. Going to make sure I choose the right context for her. And it's not going to like that. That's because I logged out. Let's try this again. I want to restart. I restarted my server while my client was running, and that probably wasn't the best idea. Okay, I can type this in, I'm sure, though. hr.garopa. And let's see if this is detected. Yep, Alexis was detected now because I did 3 incorrect logins. Now if I do another one, it should tell me that it's bad. Someone's attempted to access your account by guessing the wrong passwords. See your system administrator. I'm Alexis. I want to call the help desk to log in. Okay, so I'm Alexis. So I'm logged in here. I'm Lauren, I'm sorry. I'm Lauren. Do you want to change your password? No. And Alexis calls Lauren, and Lauren says, okay, let me help you out. Where are you located? I'm in Human Resources, and here's Alexis's account. Now, you have a couple things that you can do right from here. If I check the checkbox next to Alexis, I do have some actions that I can do. One is I can set their password. I can't remember a password. Let me set your password for you. I can also clear the lockout right from this drop-down menu. It's kind of a shortcut. It's kind of nice and easy to use. I'm going to show you the long way. Actually getting into the user account so you can see all the fields we're working with. So I'm going to click on Alexis, and it's going to be underneath the restrictions tab up on top. And right away, right over in intruder lockout, I can see my intruder lockout. It's locked by the intruder. I had 3 wrong attempts. That's where it came from. And I can click on it, and I click apply. And it cleared the intruder detection, and it cleared some of these other fields as well, which it needed to write to. So, and right now the account is cleared. Alexis still can't remember her password though, so that's where I go into her password restrictions, and I'm able to change some of this stuff. Now I'm not, for password management, I'm not able to change these 2, but I can change some of these things underneath, but especially I can change the person's password. Okay, let me change it to you. It is LTC123, LTC123. I click OK, and the password was changed for Alexis. So the help desk person was able to clear the intruder detection and change the password for the person. So let's try Alexis again. LTC123 is the password. And I'm able to log in successfully. The password is expired though, because anytime the password gets changed, it automatically expires, more or less forcing the user to change their password so that they can, the administrator shouldn't know what your password is. Do you want to change your password? No. And now I'm logged in as Alexis. What's nice about doing it this way is that underneath Garopa, and I have this help desk, I really don't have to remember Lauren or Brandon or whoever else. It's all based on the help desk group. If I wanted somebody else to fill in for help desk that day just to reset passwords, maybe it was a 3-day weekend and nobody can remember their passwords, so we just bring somebody else on for the day to answer calls and reset passwords. We can put them in the group. We're done. We get everybody reset, and then that person really shouldn't be changing passwords anymore. I pull them out of the group, and they won't have access to change passwords anymore. Questions on object rights? Is this something you can do? Not too difficult. Just like we work with file system rights, that you can work with all kinds of, really any kind of scenario that you want. I want them to read here and not write there, but be able to change here and that in that directory, but not the subdirectory and the subcontainer. You can do anything that you want through rights using the same ideas that we worked with the file system. So there's a lot of flexibility in there. The properties that you can give specific rights to is huge. I can let you change your address, or I can not even let you see your own address. You know, you have complete rights as far as what they can do, read, write, or even see that they exist. So we're not going to get really deep into this any much further, just because this is not something that's used a lot. Well, I shouldn't say, that's worded incorrectly. When it's used, it's implemented like at the help desk. I create the help desk group and its system. You don't go and change that stuff very often. Like what else, unless you want the help desk to do something else, like maybe create users. You probably don't want your help desk deleting people though, unless they're trained to do that. Or even a backup administrator. Like how many times in a year do you create a backup administrator? Not very often. So those kinds of rights are something that you really have to study and know what you're doing. You implement them, and then you use them forever, and maybe tweak them here and there, but it's not a huge implementation thing. Very similar to intruder detection. How many times do you configure intruder detection? Once. How many times do you work with login scripts? Well, you do a major implementation right up front, and then if everything's done right, you just maybe tweak it here and there just a little bit, but you're not doing full implementations. Same thing with object rights. You put all your stuff in up front, configure it correctly, and then you might tweak it here and there, but not huge implementations. You don't do this regularly. File system rights, all the time. You're just doing file system rights almost on a daily basis. This department needs access to that, doesn't need access to that anymore. That team disbanded. This team is starting up. We're going to share folders and files, all that kind of stuff. So that file system management and user management, passwords, creating new people, disabling accounts, those are pretty regular activities. So any questions? Okay. Oh, yes.
So do we need to know?
Oh, will you need to know those?
Yeah, like which floor we got?
Yes. Yes, you will.
Are you going to tell us the names of them?
No.
So, but we have to know the ones you just did.
Yes. Okay, the question is, do I have to really pay attention to anything you said today? And the answer is yes.
No.
No. Okay. Yes, it's a lot to write down. It's a lot to go through, and I'll be happy to go through them again. And I'll show them to you again. Yes, you'll need to do this again. The scenario will be with object rights up there. Pretty much we do. Create a help desk group and give them enough rights to change passwords and clear intruder detection. That's your scenario. How you implement that's up to you. Obviously, choosing the right rights would be appropriate. And then the demonstration part will be, in fact, I think we even wrote that one already. Wrong file there. The checkoff list, there we go. Intruder detection. Oh, no, that's not it. Nope, we have a different one. Nope, sorry, don't have that one on there yet. As far as like a help desk and having somebody from the help desk be able to clear somebody's password, and clear intruder detection, and then change their password, will be a scenario that you have to be given. To review those again, let me show those to you. And I think I just closed my window. It's going to be locked by intruder, login intruder attempts, login intruder address, login intruder reset time, and then password management. The first four deal specifically with intruder detection, clearing intruder detection, and then password management. By the way, even with all those rights, they would not be able to implement intruder detection. They could not go to a container and say, I want you to change it from 3 incorrect attempts to 5, or instead of an hour of being locked to a day. They're only able to change those very specific properties of those entries, which is a little checkbox, the intruder attempts count, the address, and the reset time.